Hello, good afternoon. This is Alana. Welcome yet again from my second favorite workspace, my floor. Today we are going to talk about the incomparable, the magnanimous, the indisputably important sketch. Hi. We're talking about sketching today. And I'm gonna pet this cat while we talk to you because just look at that belly. How could I not? So I'm next to all of my... I would argue that this is a vast majority, if not all of my sketches and drawings from when I was like 10-ish until I was around, I'd say 20. As a 32-year-old individual, this does not encompass everything that I had. Well, I'm almost 32. Forgive me. 32 in June. But be that as it may, it is very important to talk about the fact that sketches are meant to be ugly. Sketches are meant to be goblin core, unfinished motherfuckers. And that is important because today we're going to talk about the concept of sketching things that you do that one does not know how to draw. Because that's what I'm doing right now. I am sketching horses and I am sketching dogs. Because those are some very important things for my Jane Eyre series that I'm working on right now. So as soon as I was done with the most recent chapter of Jane Eyre from when I'm filming this, I don't know when this is coming up for you guys, but I have just filmed chapter 11. And as soon as I was done, I was like, fuck, I need to draw a horse a couple of times and it needs to look good. So in order to get myself in the right mindset, I have gone and I have looked through some sketches, which we're going to go look through right now as well, about the fact that art is not supposed to be perfect, which is what I harp on all the time, and I need to learn that lesson a lot too, trust me. But I have done a little sketchbook of I'm calling it my ugly sketch horse book. Ugly horse sketchbook. But I pulled out some other sketches too, just to illustrate the fact that it is important to just get things out onto a piece of paper, regardless of what they look like, regardless of whether they look good or not. So I thought this would be a very important aspect of my Let's Draw series, because I am not perfect and I get angry sometimes when I'm not perfect, which is ridiculous because I try and always state that perfect is the enemy of the good. So whatever is clever. Let's get to it. Let's look at some stuff. And then after we've looked at some sketches, after I've shown you my ugly ass horse sketchbook, then we're going to actually sketch together. I'm going to look at some dogs. And we'll go through a little process of what one sketching process could look like so that you can do it on your own. Let's get started. Also, speaking of not perfect, do you like my dress? I made it. It's got a slit because it's hot already. It's hot in Topeka. It's not Topeka. I live in Mojave Desert in the greater Los Angeles area, but whatever. It's not like it was 90 this fucking week in March. All right, I'm done. I'm off of my soapbox. So, just to remind myself that it is important to just make art that isn't pretty, that isn't great and amazing, because it is what it is. Things are supposed to be scratchy and sketchy and unfinished, and that is the only way that we are able to grow, in essence. Because in my opinion, art and drawing and music and painting is a muscle. It may not be a definable muscle that you can find on, an anatomical chart, but it is a muscle within muscle memory. So I'm actually talking about your hands, your arms, your wrists, your fingers. So it is very important to just work the muscles that we have in this life to try and create, if that's what we want to do. Not everyone in this world wants to draw, wants to make art, and I get that. But, you know, I wouldn't consider any of these really finished. Oh my gosh, I got shit in here. Oh my god! We don't talk about Portal 2, but just know I love Portal 2. And, I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to get into it. Sometimes there's just games that make you who you are, and there's art that makes you who you are. And it would totally be Portal 2 and Un Monstre à Paris, for sure. Oh my god, look, more Portal shit. But yeah, you're supposed to just sketch things out over and over and over again, and it does not have to be perfect, nor should it be, because nothing is perfect. That's shitty poetry in there, and I'm not going to show that to you guys because I'm embarrassed. So I'm not going to. And no one in this world can make me. But that is just the way it is. What is this? You learn a lot about yourself by looking through your old things, too. Okay. So, that being said, this is my most recent batch of sketches for what I am working on, and this is my shitty horse book. And it really does involve just sitting down and looking at pictures of horses, or anything. Could be dogs, could be cats, could be... Here, hold on. I needed both of my hands. Okay. So when you're dealing with making sketches of anything, it's just repetition is the name of the game. And obviously, these are not great horses. This is just looking at shapes, looking at curves, looking at lines, trying to figure out anatomy. And I did look up some images, which we will also talk about in a minute, of looking at actual skeletons and muscular structures of living creatures, if that's what you're working on. This is my favorite. But it is important to create some type of a baseline for yourself when you're creating. So this is my baseline for the concept of horses. I will continue to be continuing to work on this during the coming weeks as I deal with this. But let's switch gears and let's look at a new subject to make sketches of, to practice. So let's set things up and I will show you what we're doing for the dog in this situation. You get one bonus picture because I like you. This is one of my senior pictures from when I was in high school. And we all had to get our fucking senior pictures done. So looking at this now, I look so much like my mother. And it's very frightening to me in like a good way, but like, damn, how do I look so much like my mother in the past? But now in the future, I also feel like I really look like my mother. I don't know. I'm having a gentle existential crisis, apparently. So just ignore me. We will get back to the work at hand. Yeah, time's odd. Time's weird. This is going to exist for thousands of years online, and I do accept that. I have long since accepted that. Because as a former practicing attorney, I no longer practice, but like I'm fully aware that there are audio recordings of me that will live in perpetuity of me being in open court giving arguments for this, that, and the other. So time and eternity, man. Very interesting creations. Okay, I'm done talking. I'll go. Goodbye. All right. The sun is in an untenable position, but we're going to make do. So, what we have here today, I don't know if I sound ridiculous. I probably do. But as an autistic dude, sometimes it's nice just to have things laid out as baseline as possible. I also cannot do this. Okay. That's a little bit better. You are just gonna need the cheapest paper that is out there. You do not need to waste your good heavy pound paper on a sketch. This is printer paper. I cut it up for a different project, and this is a bunch of extra pieces that I have left over. So it's what's getting used. I then have pencils. I actually have 2 pencils that are nice and sharp. These pencils do not have erasers on them, partially because I have used them all up. But secondly, because when it comes to sketching, I believe that you don't need to erase it. You just don't need to erase it. It's fine. It's fine. You are here to build muscle memory. You are also here to practice something over and over and over again until you are blue in the face. And sometimes a mistake in an illustration can really make the piece, because there's a lot of fluidity in a sketch line that sometimes does not translate over to if you're inking a piece, and if you erase said sketch line, it just doesn't feel the same anymore. So, got your pencils. I almost said pen because I used to sketch solely in pen, but I try not to do that anymore. I'm trying to be an adult about it. You got your pencils, you got your paper, then you need some form of reference photo. If you are sketching from life, I always think that's wonderful, because then you get to really understand proportions of whatever you're working on. Because it's a little bit, or it can be a little bit difficult to understand the proportion of something when it's just on a computer screen. But that's what I got. I got a computer screen, and that's what I will be working with today. So I am working on a specific type of dog that I would like to learn how to better illustrate for the Jane Eyre series. Not to go too deep into the story, if you don't give a shit, then, I mean, take what I say with a grain of salt. But there is a folklore legend that is brought up that one of the, that this dog looks and sounds like. It's called, I think, a jitrash. Like a northern England folk tale of this big hairy creature that's like a hound and comes in the moors in the twilight and whatever. So I did a lot of research, and I think I've pretty much settled on, for like a long-haired English hound, like a large dog, is what's called an otter hound, which sounds adorable. Because I love otters. I love their little tiny hands and their little tiny rocks that they use for muscles. But that's, you know, an otter hound does not actually look like an otter. It looks like a big ass fucking dog. And if you know, the dog I live with is a Great Pyrenees, which is an enormous motherfucker. I just took her for a walk today, and she was not having it. So I can only assume how fun walking an otter hound is. Shaggy coat, webbed feet, strong swimming abilities. I'm obviously just reading the Google thing right now. Ooh, but I love a good medieval hound. So that's what I will be working on. We're gonna do a little bit of anatomy lesson, and then just draw the thing over and over and over and over again. Because then you're also going to build up your muscle memory for what you're doing. But then on the other hand of that, you're also going to be imbuing whatever style you have. Your style in art will just continue to grow the more you sketch things. So that's my 2 cents. I don't think I have a style though. So I might just be the pot calling the kettle black, saying I don't have a style, but other people will think, oh yeah, that queer online has a style. I don't know. Alright, let me flip you down. I'll chat a little bit more. We'll do a little bit of something. We'll do a little dance, and then you'll have homework. So emotionally prepare for your homework. Alright, I have gone to my internet search engine. I have typed in Otterhound. I have clicked on just the images. And now we're just gonna just draw this motherfucker over and over and over and over again. Enjoy the sound of my neighbor doing some really cool stuff in his garage. It is what it is. So we're gonna do one together, and then I'm gonna put you on a time lapse And I will then eventually have a shitty dog sketchbook to go with my shitty horse sketchbook. What's a good one? What is a dog? Oh god, they're just so cute. Just, it's hard for me to just look at puppies. Oh wow, this is a big fucking dog. Okay, this is good because that now I've got some scale. So we're gonna do this human for scale. And then knee, and then a leg, knee, and a second leg. All right, so that's a human for scale. Now this is going to be the dog that we're working on. Big old puppy head. Big old fucking ear. It's hard to see that this dog has a neck, but he has to. This dog is very long. This is a long dog. One paw. Two paw. Long boy. And then we got some leggies. And then a little bit of a back. And see, now do you understand what I mean when I say shitty dog sketches? Like, emotionally, is that a dog? No. Would anything in the world understand that as a dog? Only barely. It looks like a human. And this might be my fault because these dogs do look remarkably human. But that doesn't matter. This is the first of probably about 100 dogs that I'm going to sketch. You're only going to see about 15 to 20 in these pages, but there will be more off camera. Trust me. This is just the process. This is the repetition. This is the muscle memory and the importance of muscle memory. Because muscle memory isn't just in your hands. It's in, I mean, I did martial arts for about a decade, give or take. And so there's a lot of muscle memory in feet and foot placement, in how you carry your chest, and in the way that you move your body as you walk. If you are a musician, you know muscle memory in your fingers and hands. Or if you do anything with like woodwinds or brass, you know, there's muscle memory in your tongue. You know, take that into whatever context you like. Or your lips, or if you're to move from musicians and artists to, you know, culinary arts. One has a muscle memory to flip, you know, pans or burgers, or I don't know. I think I'm just trying to illustrate the fact that muscle memory is not just one thing, but the only thing that one can do to build up muscle memory, regardless of whether it's art, martial arts, culinary arts, running marathons, triathlons, is repetition. Repetition is the thing that you have to do over and over and over again to get some form of result. So I'll put you on a time lapse so that you don't have to listen to the drill next door. And I will work on my own repetition. And then, obviously, you're going to have homework. Because homework is good for you. Especially when there's no stakes. There's no stakes. There's no stakes in this homework. The only stakes are the fact that I will be so proud of you if you do the homework. If you share the homework, even better. I will comment so many nice and kind things. But the only thing that happens if you don't do the homework is you don't have a new experience. So, your homework is to go do a ton of sketches of something. Doesn't matter what it is. But I will leave you out for the next 30 to 40-ish seconds, if that, in a time lapse of me doing a shit ton of sketches of the English Otterhound. So have a beautiful rest of the weekend and enjoy the start of summer, because it's already getting so hot here. I just vacuumed, well, sorry, I call it mowing the lawn vacuuming. I just vacuumed all of the front and the backyard, and it is going to get allergen-y and hot. So prepare. Stay inside, do some sketches. Enjoy your day. And don't forget also, with looking at multiple different photos and sketching from multiple different photos, so long as you are not too squeamish, I find it extremely helpful to go and look up pictures of skeletons of the living creatures that you're working on, as well as the muscular structures. Because, underneath all of our fur, underneath all of our skin, if you're working with humans, we all have bones and muscles that aid us in moving and very much dictate how we look on the outside. So go do some homework. Proud of you guys. And don't forget, but what if it was for puppies?